Hey, welcome to our final video on oikos in Paul. Today we're going to talk about one particular household that Paul references in his literature. And it's not just a passing reference, it's an important thing. Let me set the stage for you. Paul is writing to the church at Corinth. They have written him a letter with some questions. We have two of Paul's letters to Corinth. Probably there were more. There was more back and forth, but there are two that are in the New Testament. They've written him some questions and he's written back answers. But along with the answers, he's used the opportunity, the conversation door that they opened to kind of teach into their situation. And their situation's a mess, right? The church is fractured. The leaders are pulling people to them instead of magnetizing the people toward one Christ in the middle. They're pulling people to them, trying to make sure that their church stays open. You know what I'm talking about. And as a result, like this one church that could have had defense against the enemy is broken. The walls are broken down. The church is fighting amongst itself, and the enemy has all this room. And so all the believers are living out their sexuality the same way the world does, and it's broken and unhealthy and wrecks people and harms souls. They're living with lots of things the way the world does, and they are not providing a contrast community at all. That's what happens when you break the church up. It can no longer provide a meaningful, salient contrast community. And Paul says, please wake up to righteousness. There are some in your city that don't have the knowledge of God, and I'm saying that to your shame. You were supposed to provide a contrast community, and you're not. You're not. And your leaders are kind of making it worse, right? Paul's just at the edge of despair with them. He's like, I'm going to come see you, and I hope it doesn't go bad. Man, I hope it doesn't go bad. But you guys are breaking my heart. All right. So in a bad situation, what Paul will do is he'll visit. When he can't visit, he'll send somebody, right? And he tries. He sends Timothy, but he knows they're not going to listen to him. So he tries also to send Apollos, but Apollos isn't going to go. Apollos, he's got something else. He doesn't want to go. He's not going to go. So Paul's kind of typically I have a visual aid for what I'm trying to teach. Either it's me, but you've kind of written me off. Some people have told lies about me. You've written me off. You're not listening to my example anymore. That's too bad. You're not going to follow Timothy's example because you're associating him with me. And so since you're not listening to me, you're not listening to him. Maybe Apollos. Maybe you'd listen to Apollos. Maybe you'd watch Apollos live, and it would be a visual aid for what I'm trying to say. And Apollos won't go. So what's Paul to do? What can Paul point at as the solution to the problem? Now, this problem of a fractured church that's no longer a contrast community, that's a problem in the States. That's a problem here in Narnia. That's a problem in most of the countries I've been in. The church, where there is an established church, is fractured and is not providing a contrast community. So, what can we do? What genius strategist, Holy Spirit, Kung Fu Ninjutsu Master Paul, what is his solution for this god-awful situation? 1 Corinthians 16, 12 through 16. I'll read it to you. Now concerning our brother Apollos, I strongly urged him to visit you with the other brothers, because I need a visual aid. But it was not at all his will to come now. He'll come when he has opportunity. Be watchful. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong. Let all you do be done in love. Visual aid, here it comes. Now I urge you, brethren, you know the household of Stephanas. Here it is. Boom, the visual aid. The house of Stephanas, right? Here it is. You know the household of Stephanas. They were the first converts in Achaia. Philippi is in Macedonia. Corinth is in Achaia. They have devoted themselves to the service of the saints, to the care of the saints. Be subject to such as these, and to those who labor with them like them. Ready? Let's break that up. Step 1. It is the house of Stephanas. They. So this isn't you know Stephanas, how he has addicted himself to the care of the saints, devoted himself to the care of the saints. His kids are train wreck, and his wife never sees him because every time he comes home from work, he goes out and preaching in the streets and out late at night trying to help people follow Jesus and counseling other people about their marriages and helping the believers and encouraging, discipling people and going to the gym with the guys and being with the guys. It's his guys and disciple the guys. His wife never hears from him. Nope. It doesn't say, the wife of Stephanas, how disillusioned with her husband's general lack of leadership in the family, has just totally thrown herself into the church and is at every church meeting and runs every church committee and manages every church function and cooks for every church everything. Her kids kind of wonder why she's doing all that and where's dad in all this, and right? Nope. It says the house of Stephanas. They have a family mission, a household mission, bigger than mom, dad, and the kids. Employees, their business, all of it. They have a mission together. They have devoted, and this word also means addicted. Not in the unhealthy, like, I have to do ministry or I'm nothing. Not like that. This word means with intention and purpose, to give yourself to something with force and focus until it becomes such a nature to you that you can't really, this is how you live. This is who you are. It's what it means to be you. It's you. It's in your bones and your bones are in it. Okay? They together devoted themselves as an act of will and then continued practice, even when it was difficult and especially when they weren't good at it, to the care of the saints. They devoted themselves to taking care of people. Some houses might devote themselves to the lost. Some houses might devote themselves to helping drug addicts. Some households might devote themselves to victims of sex traffic. Some households might devote themselves to encouraging the elderly. Some households might devote themselves to different things. Now, all households devote themselves to something. Like those families where like every vehicle they have is like plastered with a particular football team or college team stuff. Always wearing those colors. That's fine. Be a fan. Being a fan's fun. But for some houses, like what they've decided to do is who they are. Like the Kennedys in the United States. They made a conscious decision to affect the American political landscape. And they did. They still do. The Rothschilds and Bilderbergers made a conscious decision, Vanderbilts made a conscious decision to amass wealth and to affect society with it. Other households have made other decisions, some that large, others smaller. When a household makes a decision together, though, that's a big thing. Okay? So it's also important that this doesn't say they devoted themselves to the programs of the church. I'm going to leave that alone. Programs aren't people. And they eat resources. Just take care of some people. Just find some people that need to care and take care of them. Lost, saved, whatever God puts in your heart. Find the overlap between especially the adults or even the teenagers in your house. Find the place where your hearts overlap and the people in that space. Take care of them, right? So they addicted themselves, devoted themselves to the care of the saints, and this is what Paul says next. Be subject. So that means follow. Follow/obey. Be subject to them. So in a situation where all the leaders are pulling the church apart, and people are wondering, who can I trust? Who are the leaders I can trust? These kinds of people. These kinds of people are worthy of being followed. And he goes on to say, those who, whoops, there's an H in there, who work with them. Oh man, I spelled terribly today. Those who work with them, like them. So there isn't just one household. There isn't just the one House of Stephanas, and that's all there is in all of Corinth. There's apparently other households who also have devoted themselves to some part of Jesus' heart. They work like them, but they also work with them. So what's being described is a network of Christward, activated households who are bringing everything they have to bear on some part of God's heart, together in synergy with one another to bless that city. It's a network of households in a city, sharing resources, sharing encouragement, sharing ideas, sharing counsel, sharing rebuke, in order to bring the image of Jesus to bear in Corinth. In all that mess, in all that noise, in all that awful, unspiritual, spirit-depraved train wreck that was the church at Corinth, there were still some households that were holding the whole thing together. Find those people, follow those people, become those people. Those people are the people who can engage culture with the gospel. Because remember, the gospel is an announcement of a contrast kingdom. We live that out in contrast community. And contrast community functions at the level of city and household. So find them, work with them, imitate them, become them. There'll be a bonus video, short one, that describes how my house is trying to do that. All right, thanks.